You're watching Joy News today. My name is Atani Delali Emmanuel. Now, fresh details have emerged. The letters of the police recruitment scam emerged as far back as December last year. The Interior Minister Mark Oyungu told Super Morning Show on Joy FM about how he got first-hand information about what has turned out to be one of the biggest scandals to hit the police service.
Let me say, it looks like I discovered this scam in December last year when I went to the north for my holidays. My constituents came to me asking me to help them get admission into the police training colleges. And I told them we're not recruiting. They said, how? They are recruiting. And I said, how? They said, oh, some people have got letters. And I said, can they bring me a copy of the letter? So they brought me a copy of one of the letters. I examined it critically, and I saw COP Timbila's name on the letter. So I called the IGP and told him what I had seen and what I had heard. And I wanted confirmation as to whether they were doing some recruitments. I said, no, if they were doing recruitments, I should be put in the picture. So they were not doing any recruitments. And I told him what I had heard and what I had seen. So I went further to probe and got pay-in slips, monies they paid into some bank accounts, Stanbic Bank on the Spintex Road. So I then called COP Timbila and told him what I had seen and what I had got. So they said, oh, that's fine, they'll follow it up. So a few days later, I called back for the feedback, and he said, well, they had put a embargo on the account on the Spintex Road. And I asked how much was in there. He said it was about 35,000 Ghana cedis. And I said, that is fine. And a few days later, I followed up, and they said, oh, they had arrested one Aisha Asumda and the others, and they were going to prosecute them. And the issue is that the police service is a human institution. And in every human institution, there is a Mensa. I'm sure there's a Mensa in Joy FM. So in every human institution, there is a Mensa. And I'm happy that you've talked about the IGP's commitment to cleaning up the police service. That one is true, and he has all my support. Because of that, we are even thinking of setting up an independent police commission. But I've prepared a cabinet paper. We're going to cabinet maybe in the next week or so. And then after that, we'll present it to the police council for consideration. Then we establish an independent police commission. This is because of our commitment to clean up the police service. You know, when we do all these things, I'm sure that we'll be able to get rid of all the Mensans, or minimize or reduce the number of Mensans.
The two police officers who were arrested last week in connection with the recent recruitment scam have been released on bail. Constable Ruth Ejiri of the Koforidua Central Prisons and Corporal Gideon Sapong of the Takoradi Visibility Unit are, however, interdicted. Director of Finance and Patrols of the Ghana Police Service, DCOP Akufo Dampare, disclosed this on the Super Morning Show on Joy FM.
Initially, these people were arrested and taken to the police station. But the investigation team, evaluating the evidence, has made a determination that some of them being bailed, and also the interdiction process against them also having been processed. So, in effect, I think this OP, Mr. Timbila, has not been treated anywhere different from the other police officers.
Well, he hasn't been arrested.
Yeah. But those who were arrested has also gone through the process of interdiction, and because it is easy to assess these individuals, the way Mr. Timbila has been treated in the same way these people have been treated.
According to DCOP Dampare, the police service will prosecute the recruitment fraud case to the letter and bring culprits to book.
I say no. Even though he has been interdicted, the restriction is to police facilities and others. And beyond that, I think he's a free man to do his own thing. But the investigation team, which is under the direct supervision of the Inspector General of Police, because of the way he is, the way he takes things, he doesn't take chances with any issue. He'll make sure that at the end of the day, his movement and whatever will not impede the investigation which is currently underway.
Okay.
And this is also another demonstration that not much as probably the evidence as it stands now will not be the way that people may look at it. We have moved quickly even to take action against him. So imagine if the investigation ends up and he's found culpable, what do you think we will do? We will do everything to make sure that the people will have confidence in the police service.
Legal practitioner Samson Ladi INN is raising questions about the information the police administration has made public on the recruitment scam. He believes there's much more than the police administration appears to be putting in the public domain. INN told me a while ago that a lot of questions need to be answered.
I have a couple of questions that are begging for answers, and here they are. Number one, I have heard the Minister of the Interior, I've heard even the police authority suggest that there is everything okay with the preferential treatment that the accused, that is COP Patrick Timbela, is receiving, that it is okay. I say no, it is not.
Why not?
Yes, he's an accused person. By law, Article 19, he's presumed innocent until he's proven guilty. But I say our Constitution says that all of us deserve equal treatment. So I see the police as a group that I employ because I am a taxpayer. It is my tax money that is used to pay them and to sustain them. I don't see why the employer, in this sense, loosely speaking, gets badly treated or different treatment, and then the employee gets a special treatment. So I say that is wrong. We need to watch that very, very carefully. Other than that, we'll send very wrong signals out there. People commit or are accused of petty crimes, misdemeanors, involving a phone costing not up to, say, 200 Ghana cedis. And when they are reported to the police, they are picked up. They may not even be granted police inquiry bail until they appear before a court and make an argument for bail.
Now the police says it's restricted his movement. What would you rather the police have done?
That's fine. I'm saying I have worked for police officers who were also interdicted for having, been implicated in one offense or the other. You interdict and then you arrest, or you arrest and then you interdict, and let the person go through the same process. I'm saying my fear is that, and my worry is that if we don't do that, the community will see that people are treated differently because of who they are, and that doesn't give a good signal. And in fact, it offends the Constitution if people are seen or are seen to be giving preferential treatment. I've heard them suggest that, oh, he's only been accused and that this is not a serious offense in that regard. And I ask the question, what else is a serious offense? If this is not serious, what else is serious? So we need to look at that again. If you and I got into trouble, we will be arrested and we'll go through the process. Let everybody go through the same process. Number two, we are being told that this thing was discovered in 2014 and that the woman at the center, Aisha Asumda, was arrested and an account was frozen. An account at Spinkters Road, which holds money of about 30,000 Ghana cedis, was frozen. I want the police to answer the question, which account is this they are talking about? Is it the accused Madam Asumda's account, or it is an account which I have become aware of that an amount in excess of 1 million Ghana cedis has been put into, and that account bears the name Patrick Timbila. I am not saying it may be this Patrick Timbila, because we know that anything is possible. So they should tell us, which is the account that has been frozen? Is it the woman's account or the account that bears the name Patrick Timbila, which is supposed to hold in excess of 1 million Ghana cedis? In any case, they should not present the case in a way that misleads the public. The woman was arrested in 2014 over a similar offense, for which offense she's standing trial in court. The information I have suggests that while she's being tried, she has received 2 different contracts, quote unquote, because I mean this appears to be a fraudulent thing, so they cannot be contracts, so to speak. But I understand that the woman sees them as a contract that is given to her. So while she's being prosecuted, she has been given 2 different contracts for the same thing, which contracts she worked on in 2015. And that is what she mobilized an amount of 1 million Ghana cedis, more than 1 million Ghana cedis, and giving to whoever gave her that job. We should get to know what is going on. Third, in Ghana, the law is that if a certain amount of money comes into anybody's account in a bank, and that money does not correspond or approximate to what is your regular inflow into that account, the bank is supposed to alert the Financial Intelligence Unit at the Bank of Ghana. And the Financial Intelligence Unit will immediately put a freeze on that account. Then that person will have to go to court to justify that that money is not bad money, as in not money laundering, and that it is genuine money for genuine purposes. If it is the case really that over 1 million Ghana cedis has been pushed by this woman into one account, what was that bank doing? That bank did not detect that that amount of money was suspicious. The police should tell the public which bank is this that was operating their accounts, and whether or not they alerted the Financial Intelligence Unit. And if they alerted the Financial Intelligence Unit, why did they also not act? These are the questions begging for serious answers that you should be asking the police.
Why is it important that these questions are answered?
Because if they are not answered, we could be up for another scam at the highest official level. That's all I can say for now.
Okay. Member of Parliament for Boase West, Kweku Kwate, and 2 other persons have filed a suit at an Accra High Court seeking to put a stopper on the Interconnect Clearinghouse program until all issues are put right. The suit, which has won Elijah Dansibona, a subscriber to the Telecommunications Services and Development Data, a policy research and advocacy institution, has been among the plaintiffs. Cites the NTA and AfriWave Telecom as well as all telecom providers as the defendants. The suit filed on March 5, 2015 by their solicitors also invites the Attorney General as an interested party. Member of Parliament for Boase West, Kweku Kwate, spoke on the AM show with Roland Walker.
It's an unnecessary illegality, and we don't need it. And even if we need it, it's against the law, and therefore we should have righted the law before we go ahead and do it. Now it has become necessary to go to the court because the idea was thrown up by government. It's not just myself, but many other organizations, Media Network Foundation, the Wireless Service Providers Association, the Internet Service Providers Association, the multinational companies, and so everybody seems to be telling government that this is not necessary, it is not right, and therefore drop the idea. In spite of this, government has proceeded to appoint an interconnect clearinghouse operator, and it's looking to start the operation of this clearinghouse in May. Now, it is the reason we found it necessary to go to the court and ask the court to stop them.
So what do you want? An injunction placed on or a moratorium placed on this in the meantime as things are straightened out?
Yes, we're seeking for a perpetual injunction. We are asking the court to forever restrain government from implementing this. But while the case is determined today, we would file an application for interim injunction. That is to say, while the court looks into the matter, we'll be asking the court to stop government from proceeding in any way, in any arrangement in connection with this clearinghouse.
The commercial court in Accra has thrown out a suit seeking to prevent the government from going ahead with the policy of migrating TV broadcast networks to a digital platform. The suit was brought by a Chinese firm, Star Times, after government cancelled the contract for the installation of the digital platform. Our man in court, Kwache Fred Nyama, spoke with me earlier.
Well, it was an extremely brief court session, lasted barely 2 minutes, but presiding judge George Kumsin did not provide any reason for throwing out the injunction, but the court will provide the reasons for striking out the court suit on March 16. As you may know, the deadline for the migration from analog to digital platform, as directed by the International Communications Union, is June this year, and Deputy Communications Minister Atosapon says that following the court decision to throw out this injunction seeking to prevent government from going ahead with the migration onto the digital network, this actually paves way for government to go ahead with the entire process. And at the end of this week, they will process the bids they've received from interested companies. He reviewed that about 11 companies so far have already submitted their bids. They've expressed interest in undertaking this migration project. And by the end of next week, government will do the selection process. So again, contrary to reports on some networks that the government may not or will not indeed be able to meet the June deadline in this entire process, Mr. Atosapon says that he's confident that they will meet this deadline.
You're watching Joy News today. A reminder of our top stories. Private legal practitioner calls out the police over obscurities in the presentation of facts surrounding fraudulent police recruitment. Commercial court in Accra throws out suit seeking to prevent government from going ahead with the policy of migrating TV broadcast networks to a digital platform. Member of Parliament for Obuasi West, Kweku Kwate, and 2 others filed suit seeking to put a stopper on the Interconnect Clearinghouse program. There's more to come Tuesday. Stay on now. Police in Tamale have reportedly made an arrest in relation to the outbreak at the Tamale markets Monday dawn. The fire is believed to have been caused by faulty electrical wiring. I'm joined over the telephone line by Northern Regional Police PRO ASP Ebenezer Tete. ASP, thanks for joining us here. ASP, reports suggest you have made an arrest in relation with the fire. What can you tell us about that?
So far, I've checked with all the places that I have to check. I've checked with the District Police Command, the Regional CID, who are directly investigating the matter. I've just spoken with the investigator, and there's no such information. There's no records in any of our police books of any arrest. So I don't know exactly where that particular information is coming from, but I can tell you on authority that the regional CID are directly involved in investigations of the fire outbreak that happened at the Tamale Central Market early this morning. I
see. What developments have emerged in the investigations?
The information was that at about 5 a.m.
Have there been any new developments emerging in the course of the investigation so far?
That I cannot discuss with you on air, but the bits and pieces of information that we are picking is that the fire outbreak might be as a result of an electrical fault. That is what investigators are suspecting.
I see. Thank you very much, ASP Olivia. ASP Ebenezer Tete joined us from the Northern Regional Capital. Now, Joy News has uncovered the theft of 86 transformers belonging to the Electricity Company of Ghana. 2 officials from the ECG Central stores in Tema have been dismissed for their alleged involvement in a theft. Joy News' Kwete Nati spoke with me earlier.
These transformers were kept at the ECG Central stores in Tema. But what happened was that it was in large volumes, and these staff, about 5 of them, were sneaking these transformers out of the stores one after the other. It was between a period of time. So it wasn't until some stock taking was done that they detected that, whoa, 86 transformers worth $500,000 are missing.
Tell us, we also understand that some arrests have been made. Tell us about those arrests.
Yes, when the incident happened, the management set up a committee, and this committee invited those staff that were involved. But interestingly, how these staff were detected was that they set up mystery buyers who feigned interest in purchasing transformers. So these staff, you know, told them that, oh, we have some transformers, so we can assist you. So that was how these staff were picked up. So they were placed in custody for 3 months. Then they were interdicted. But now 2 have been dismissed and 3 are standing trial.
Indeed. So how much have we lost because of these 86 transformers as a country?
We are looking at $500,000.
$500,000,
yes,
all into someone's pocket.
Yes.
And how are we looking at retrieving this money? How is the ECG doing this?
What they've done is they've set up a committee, an investigative committee that's going around the country. It's very difficult locating these transformers because the people who have been interdicted are tight-lipped, they are not speaking. So they've been able to retrieve 4 of these transformers. They were abandoned at Dansuman, so they've been able to retrieve 4. So you still have 82 transformers still missing.
Education is a right to be enjoyed by all, and as the world marks International Women's Day, Joy News brings you the story of a woman at Ejura who is battling to get her 5 children back in school 2 years after they dropped out. Joy News' Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin takes us through the highs and lows of Hamdia's life as a single parent.
42-year-old Hamdia Ibrahim had a dream of becoming a nurse. But just at the age of 5, that dream was aborted. Her parents could not afford paying her fees to continue her education. That was the beginning of an end to Hamdia's education.
Due to financial constraints, my mother could not send me to school. I wanted to be a nurse or a banker. I am not comfortable with my current situation. If you're sick, you still have to go to work. If you have your own business, you will not know what to do.
This is where Hamdia currently works to cater to the needs of her family.
This is the only work from where I earn an income. If I do not work, then I won't eat. My children are out of school, so I have to help secure their future.
Wedded more than 2 decades ago, Relentless Hamdia wants all her 5 children in school, but she's worried her children may end up with no education like herself. Her husband, Ibrahim Akurugu, died 4 years ago, compounding Hamdia's burdens.
My 2 older children have dropped out of school, and I can't afford school uniforms for my 2 younger children. I do not have a helper. One of my children wants to be a mechanic, but I don't have money.
2 years ago, her first child, 19-year-old Ibrahim Rafia, dropped out of school. She narrated her ordeal.
The reason why I stopped school that I don't have a father. And my mother also, she's the one who is like, she's taking care of us. So she doesn't have the money to give it to me. Monday, I will go to market before I get money and come and pay my classes fees, my books, my pens, my uniform, all the problems with me. So that's the reason why I stopped going to school.
Even Rafia's efforts at selling charcoal to support her mother could not get her to stay in school for too long. She wants to go back to school.
I want to get back to school because I don't have the one who would treat me to go to school, because my mother don't have anything.
If my children are able to complete school, they can cater for themselves in future.
Hamdia receives 6 Ghana cedis daily, working here, parboiling and drying rice. She walks for about an hour daily to the processing center just to make a livelihood. Surprisingly, Hamdia does not need much to transform her life. She says 500 Ghana cedis would be enough to turn the fortunes of her family around.
You're watching Joy News today. There's business news after this. Don't go away. The lives of dozens of residents in Duta, a suburb of Plau in the Volta region, is currently at risk due to the operations of diamond cement in the area. According to residents, the immense pollution caused by operations of the companies threatening lives and properties. They are appealing to government to, as a matter of urgency, intervene. Matilda Pamaga visited the area and has come through with this report.
Is a farming community in Aflawu in the Volta region with close to 6,000 inhabitants. The residents are mainly farmers but cannot return to work due to the huge impact of pollution on their farmlands.
As we are seeing this, when we watch the top of our roofing and our trees, even when you plant that kind of herb to use, you can't use it because of cement dust. It's too worried. When you take it, maybe it will affect your heart or your stomach.
So how are residents coping with this thing?
Wow, my sister, I don't know what to say, because only what I know, by the night when you sleep, let me tell you, when you wake up early in the morning, when you watch your body, you may see the different, some white things on your body. Even though when you keep water, was about some 30 minutes ago, and as the woman put it on there now, about some 3 minutes ago, you see that there's some colors in the photo of the water.
Have you spoken?
My sister, I would like government to appear on this issue, so that even though we can't move from here, but at least if they can organize some doctors to come and to examine people, if they have some disease, so that they can give us some medical. I would like that.
The dust is badly affecting us. The trees are all covered with dust. It's making life very uncomfortable for us.
The release of toxins from operations of diamond cement is also having an adverse effect on the health of residents.
Our water is all covered with dust, even the food we eat. The situation is very bad.
Our children are all coughing. We also cough at night due to the effect of the dust. We need government to come to our aid.
Although the Environmental Protection Agency and the Parliamentary Select Committee on Environment, Science and Technology has been to the area on several occasions to assess the situation, nothing has been done about it. In spite of the pollution residents have to deal with on a daily basis, the bad state of the road linking to the main town is also a worry.
The nature of this road is very poor, and sometimes when it rains, we find it difficult to move from the village to the town, and sometimes due to that, the nature of the road, and most at times accidents do occur unexpectedly, because when we are riding through the rough road, and when it rains, a moment you apply the brake or any small thing, you see that no, that's serious accident. So most of the time, even once in a week, if I will not lie to you, at least 5 people get injured in this road. So we are suffering too much.
Residents are therefore calling on government to come to their aid as they feel neglected in the country's pursuit of development. Matilda Humaga for Joy News.
Now, government has been tasked to ensure the informal economy is properly organized and operating under the appropriate legal frameworks. Speakers at a regional conference for informal workers across West Africa in Accra believe beyond just widening the tax net, a properly regulated sector will boost its contribution to economic development.
Ghana, just like most West African countries, is predominantly informal, with the informal sector covering about 85% of the economy. But the sector is saddled with numerous challenges. Access to the needed funding and government connections are topmost amongst these challenges. This has made it even more difficult for them to contribute massively to economic development. But that, according to the Ghana Trades Union Congress, could be addressed if the sector is organized under the law.
Currently, what is being discussed at the level of the ILO is how to formalize the informal economy. How do we ensure that some form of recognition, some form of basic standards, some form of conditions of service that we have, occupational health and safety, rights of workers, are really respected in the informal economy. We have the strongest conviction that if our governments even work towards that, it will help them in raising the appropriate taxes. Government should open its eyes and begin to work effectively to ensuring that the informal economy is tackled and given the boost that can help contribute to the economy the way we expect.
Meanwhile, a 3-day workshop underway in Accra has brought together stakeholders in the informal sector across 21 countries to see how best the sector can be organized with the challenges addressed.
The informal economy is very diverse, and there are so many problems, and it's a huge topic. So we try to stick together, share experiences, learn from each other, lessons learned, etc., so that we see in various countries how to tackle the problems. And I think we just can do that with a good communication and a good network where we exchange information. Yeah.
The minority in Parliament has challenged President Mahama to investigate the acquisition of several mansions, luxurious vehicles, filling stations, hotels and other properties by his appointee ministers to demonstrate his commitment to fighting corruption in Ghana. According to minority members of Parliament, government snail pace at unraveling the spate of corruption in the Jeddah, Suba and Sada contracts makes mockery of the government's fight against corruption. Well, Elton John Brobe was there for us. He's joining me over the telephone now. Hello, Elton. Hello, Elton.
Hi, Kevin, I'm here.
What more can you tell us about the NPP's call on government as far as corruption is concerned?
I think the argument is in reference to what the president told Parliament when he presented the State of the Nation address, in which the president laments the fact that the process of investigating and prosecution of allegations of corruption have been subject to delay and have been unable to fulfill their mandate, primarily due to lack of evidence sometimes. Now, the minority, in their response to this particular issue, asked the president not to look beyond his own ministers and DCEs. According to them, some of them, after 6 years in office, have acquired several mansions, luxurious vehicles, filling stations, hotels, and very material acquisition both within and outside of Ghana. And they have done this within 6 years. And they want the president to investigate the acquisition of these properties if the president wants to eliminate corruption from the body politics of Ghana. Now, also, they are also unhappy with the fact that even though there is a procurement act which says that public contracts should be subject to multiple bidding, about 80 to 85% of all public procurement under the administration of President John Mahama is done by sole sourcing or restrictive tendering. And they want the president to answer how come cost of road construction, for instance, under his administration in dollar value has almost tripled. They think that corruption is rife in the present administration, and the president can do more to eliminate it by investigating, appointees within his government of acquired properties under mysterious circumstances, and he can do so now. I've been speaking to the minority deputy leader, Dominic Nito, asked him if they have evidence to point to the fact that some appointees within the government have acquired property and upon which they want the president to respond. He told me that they have names and they have locations. They'll be willing to provide the evidence to back their claim, but they want firm assurance from the president that he will go after them when they provide these evidence to back their claim. Kevin.
Elton, thank you very much for that report. Elton John Brobe joined us from a news conference organized by the main opposition New Patriotic Party on what they describe as the true state of the nation. The sports after this, don't go away. It's time for sports. Baba Tando is here. Hello, Baba.
Hi, Kemiri.
How was your weekend?
Very eventful. No rest.
Working to bring us the news.
Yes, and trying hard to fit in.
To fit in, right. Let's take a listen to what you've got this afternoon.
In Ghana, I mean. Yeah. You know what's happening today? The Black Satellites of Ghana are in action this afternoon. It's the ongoing Africa Youth Championship in Senegal.
Oh, there's that too.
Right. So Ghana's Black Satellites will begin their search for gold at 16:30 GMT in the Senegalese town of Mbour when they play against South Africa in the opening big game of the ongoing Africa Youth Championship. Now, the Black Satellites were runners-up in the last edition in Algeria some 2 years ago, and they will certainly want to reach for the ultimate. My colleague Benedict Owusu-Dankwa is in Senegal, and he joins me on phone. Hello, Benedict.
Hi, Wakira.
Benedict, what's the mood in camp ahead of this crucial game?
Well, Baba, the mood here is very calm. As I see now, the players and officials are having their lunch before they depart for the match venue. That's at 2:30. And you know what they are at stake today, so they are very positive going into the game against South Africa.
I see. Is there any cause for worry for head coach Selastete in terms of injuries?
No, Baba, you know, 21 players were actually in for this tournament, and all 21 players yesterday after monitoring the training session and also speaking to the team doctor, that's Dr. Sambo, all the players are fit for the game.
Right, and what targets have they set for themselves, considering the fact that they were runners-up in the last edition?
Well, it is very clear. First, what you tell me, and I'm talking about the players, is that they want to qualify for the World Cup. You know, the AFCON Youth Championship set as the qualifier for the World Cup. So what the players and officials immediately they want to do is to press to qualify, and by doing that is to qualify to the next stage of the competition. So that's what they want to do. Then they will think of winning the tournament. And as you just noted, this is a tournament that the team finished as runners-up in the last edition of the tournament. So they really want to do well, and doing well means they have to win the trophy.
I see. Now, Benedict, before we get into the starting lineup, tell me, what's the condition of the facilities that are being used by the players and the team, I mean, in terms of hotel, training grounds, the stadium?
Well, here in Imbo, the facilities are not like Dakar. It's a very small town, but where the team trains is very nice. It's for Aspa, and you know Aspa, you expect to see something solid, something wonderful from them. And also, you talk about the hotel, because the CAF organized the tournament, you expect the team to be in a very nice hotel. So when it comes to where they train and where they are sleeping, I must say that I'm really satisfied and nice. And it's nice, seeing where the team is training and also lodging.
Benedict, now let's go to the starting 11 for today's game. I mean, the Black Satellite starting 11.
Well, yesterday I mentioned on Joy FM, I actually gave a probable lineup after monitoring the training session, and I can see that there's been only a change from that lineup I see. When you look at the lineup, it has goalkeeper Mr. Wasim, Steve will be the captain of the student, but he also plays Waka as Kosubi in right back, and left back will have uniform Blue United Patrick Asma, in central defense will be the 6th AD and the 6th AD, Michael Utu partner. The Algebra of Rice Recruit Academy in Lakesford, and with the C Black for Bra, who plays for me, Biate on the right flank, and Prosper Captain will be on left there. Clifford Abadi is making a second appearance at this tournament. The play time striker Benjamin Tete.
Benedict, thanks very much. Do monitor proceedings for us, and we'll get back to you in subsequent bulletins. Now, away from that, the man who led the organization of the African Cup of Nations in Ghana in 2008 says the attempt to host the tournament again in 2017 is a misplaced priority. Now, Dr. Kofi Amwa says there is no justification for hosting the tournament for the second time in less than 10 years. He says Ghana has not reaped any benefits from investing $350 million in the tournament in 2008.
It's clear that before you go and invest public money, the people's money, in something like this, and a lot of times these kind of investments are huge, do your best thinking in the front end. Why am I going to spend this amount of money? And if I spend this amount of money, how am I going to get it back? Even if I'm not going to get all of it back, the portion that I can get back, what do I have to do? What are the steps? What are the policy mix? What are the tasks that we must do so that it doesn't become just a negative, but the positive is also realized? That's number one. But number two, for me, and I've already made my views known, that I think Ghana going for the bid for 2017 is misplaced priority. Because I told you, this 350 million you're talking about, some of the good things that were supposed to come have not materialized. Like? Why don't we go to Tamale and look at the 40 hotel rooms that were designed and finish them, and then also maintain the equipment in there properly and make sure that it is managed properly. Put this edifice, this huge edifice of gargantuan investment, into the hands of Cape.
Right away from that, Ghana's beach soccer team, the Black Sharks, on Sunday recorded their first ever competitive win after thrashing AFCON 2015 hosts Seychelles 8-2 in Durban, South Africa. The Black Sharks needed 3 tournaments in 3 years to break the dark of defeats, but their total dominance and quality of play delighted the Durban crowd, who as usual rooted for Ghana after their own team lost 9-3 to Nigeria. Matthew Lamte, Isaac Ofori, Alexander Ajayi and Frederick Quavy scored a brace each on the final day of the competition. The Powerhouse Elite Tournament was eventually won by Senegal in a 5-4 thriller against old foes Ivory Coast. It was a fitting finale to cap off a memorable tournament that Ghana started with only 6 players. The Sharks must now find a way to travel to Entebbe in Uganda for a final round qualifier for the first ever African Nations Cup Beach Soccer Tournament in Seychelles later this year. And that will do it for sports. My name is Baba Tanda. Have a good afternoon.
Well, Vice President Pakwesi Mr. Arthur has been meeting the Inspector General of Police, Michael E. Beatrice Edu, has been at the police headquarters to join me here with some detail of this meeting. Hello, Beatrice.
Hi, Karen.
What necessitated this meeting?
You know, the police council meets every month to discuss whatever is going on in the police service. So today, as usual, they had their meeting. But on top of the agenda was the recent police scam that they needed to talk about. And they had that meeting, and the police administration set up an investigative committee to look into this.
Indeed.
And so the committee also had to brief the police council on what they had achieved so far. And according to the IGP, Mohammed Al-Hassan, who addressed the press immediately after the meeting, he said that the investigative committee has put in a number of steps to ensure that members deal with whatever happened, the scam. And asked which specific steps have been taken by the committee investigating the case, the IGP said that he is aware. That is how he answered it. He's aware that the committee is working to ensure that all the perpetrators are brought to book. And again, you would also recall that recently there have been calls that there should be independent investigative committee to look into this, because a lot of the time people don't trust the police investigating itself, because you're talking about COP Timbila, who's been indicted in this case. So when the IGP was asked, he said, well, that's their opinion. As far as he is concerned, the police administration will handle this as impartial and as professional as possible.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Beatrice. Beatrice Edu is my colleague here at Joy News. Our top stories here on Joy News today. Private legal practitioner Samson Ladi Ayanene calls out the police over obscurities in the presentation of facts surrounding fraudulent police recruitment. Meanwhile, Inspector General of Police Mohammed Al-Hassan assures steps have been taken to prosecute all persons interdicted in the scam. Commercial court in Accra throws out suit seeking to prevent government from going ahead with the policy of migrating TV broadcast networks to a digital platform. Member of Parliament for Obuasi West, Kukukwate, and two other persons filed suit at an Accra High Court seeking to put a stopper on the Interconnect Clearinghouse program until all issues are put out. Well, that's it for the hour. Find more news on myjoyonline.com. My name is Kimini Nyamani Amana. Goodbye.